Welcome to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show. It's presented by the great folks at COMC, Central Ozarks Medical Center, where your health is their mission. So we've got our friend Brad Harrington back with us, Shootout Hall of Famer, boat racing world champion, national champion, and so much more. We had him on before the shootout and didn't get to talk about so much of what we wanted to talk about, so we asked him to come back from Kansas. You live in Kansas.
I do.
And just kind of come back and forth,
Yeah,
right?
this is our home away from home.
Yeah.
You know, we've got a place up on the Gravois, my family does, and we share it with my other family, my brother, my sister, and my dad. And but we live just north of Bonner Springs, is where we work and where I work, and then we live in Baser, just west of the Kansas Speedway.
Okay, so not far from Kansas City, really.
Oh no, we're just a bedroom community for Kansas City. Okay. Everybody, you know, so many people drive to the city to work.
Right.
My wife being one.
Most of us, when we think of Kansas, we think you're out in the boony sticks somewhere, and not necessarily,
No,
right?
no.
And you're a big K-State guy.
I
right?
am.
Yeah.
I was raised a Jayhawks fan. But
Oh, you're
I
a
never,
defector.
Oh, I never had a purple shirt until my kids went to K-State.
Wow.
Really?
But now you've made the switch.
Yep. Well, and my boat looks like Team Kansas, and I like the font, and it looks like that team's
It looks
font.
Jayhawky.
Yeah, it does look Jayhawky, but
Yeah.
it's not. It really, Team Kansas comes from a group of us boaters, performance boaters that were, you know, up around Lake Perry.
Yeah.
And so we all came down here as a team.
Right.
And so we all called ourselves Team Kansas. So that's where that comes from.
I wondered about that, but because everybody knows you,
Right.
Brad Harrington, he's the boat racer and stuff like that. But who's this Team Kansas thing? Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Are your friends still involved in all of that?
Oh, yeah.
From
Well,
Team
Kerry
Kansas?
Six Killer.
Okay.
Mike Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brian Baldry. You know, there's a lot of us from up at Lake Perry. Brant Daniels, he comes down every year. So, yeah, we all have Team Kansas somewhere on our boat.
That is so cool. Okay.
I just happen to have it bigger than the other.
That's right. Well, they're not, you know, studs like you are.
My kids want me to put a little purple ST after it. Team Kansas State.
Oh, well, there you go, with a little wildcat on
Yeah,
there or
something
something like
like
that. So it's been amazing, your progression over the years. You know, when you started out in the early 90s doing shootout stuff, it was working on different boats, right? And then you decided to race. So you sold your hot rod, bought a boat,
Yeah.
and decided to race. Then you started to really race and win like world championships and national championships. How did you go from buying a boat, Lake of the Ozarks, running in the shootout, to winning world and national championships? Yeah. How did that happen?
Well, surrounded myself with some great people. So I became very good friends with Mike Gordon.
Okay.
And so I had a 23 Velocity, and so did he.
Another Shootout Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very good friend of mine. And we raced his boat up on the Great Lakes. I had the truck that would make the haul, and he had the boat, and the guy that had set up to throttle for him actually couldn't do the season, so I was able to step in and to finish out the season in 98 and 99.
Okay.
We raced in Factory 1 back in those days, and then qualified to go to the Worlds. We never won back then. We got, I think, as high as 4th at the Worlds in Biloxi, Mississippi. So, but it was a blast to race with Mike. And then I always had a passion for the boat, and I always had performance boats. I had a 30-foot Velocity that I had bought and redone, a Fountain and Bajas. But when my boat that I have now, the Sabre, came available, I was friends with Zaleki's down here at Lake Shores Marina.
Yeah.
And this boat came available, and I was like, you know, if we get that, we could, you know, hit a couple of races. And Jason was like, that'd be awesome to do. He knew that I had raced before. And so things kind of fell in place. I bought the boat and had to go to New York to see it and then have it brought back here. Jason's dad actually went up and got it. And we raced in 06 and 07. And then 06, Jason and I qualified to go to the Worlds.
Yeah.
And we went down to the Worlds and in Key West. And, you know, we get there and they're like, where are you from?
All right, Kansas?
Kansas? And they were like, well, just follow us around the course. And they're like, how do you even practice? I'm like, we practice on the amber waves of grain back home. So, yeah, they kind of laughed at us. But after the first day of racing, they understood that we didn't come to take it lightly.
Wow.
And so we won in 06. 07, Jason actually was racing for Jim Simmons, and I was racing against Jason the next year and lost to him just just barely. On the last day, we had a boat problem. We got it fixed underway, and we were able to finish, but we weren't able to secure the world championship.
Wow.
So.
It's amazing, though, that you won the world championship.
Yeah.
And from Kansas,
Little
no
team,
less.
little team.
So
yeah.
is the wife completely on board with all this? Is she a boat enthusiast like you are, and she's all in?
So she's an enthusiast, but she's not a really big boater.
Okay.
So truth be told, she's scared to death of boating in the water.
Really?
Yeah.
So how do you talk her into all of this stuff?
So she hasn't been on a lot of race boats, but she will go out on a boat as long as I'm driving it.
Okay.
She knows that I'll stay in control. And so it's kind of funny that my wife is, not a huge water or boat fan.
Right. But how have you gotten her to go along with all this since she's not a big boat enthusiast?
So her dad was really big into hot rods.
Okay.
Okay. And basically it's just like that. I'm into hot rod boats. He was into
So
hot
she
rod
gets
boats.
it.
She gets that part of it.
And the rest of your family is right there with you. Like they're in the boat, pushing the throttle forward, right?
Kids, yep. They used to have to wear headphones when it was too loud, but the kids love it now.
Yeah, because they're racing too.
Yeah.
I mean, your daughter Stella's racing.
Yeah.
I think your son Lake races a little.
Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully he'll be able to make a run this year. Stella was able to win her class, or our class, in 2022.
Yeah?
So, yeah, she did great.
That make you proud?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Were there dad tears or anything?
I was super proud. And
He's not a crier.
No, well, I am on certain occasions, but it was great because she runs our boat. She and Lake and all the kids, we use that boat throughout the year down here at the lake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure boat too. I love that you name your son Lake.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, how cool is that?
Yeah.
He's Mr. Water over here.
Yeah, I tried for Ozark, but my wife wouldn't go for that.
She wouldn't go that? No, okay.
So Lake.
All right, we'll continue this conversation with Hall of Famer Brad Harrington when we come back on the Lake TV Community Spotlight Show. If you love the lake, you gotta love Lake TV. Central Ozarks Medical Center, voted Missouri's best and best at the lake, is recruiting team members due to growth. Amazing employment opportunities for both medical and non-medical positions with competitive salaries and outstanding perks. For more information, go to the Careers tab at centralozarks.org. COMC for the best medical, dental, and behavioral health care. Join a leader. Join our team. COMC, where your health is our mission. If it's happening at the lake, it's happening on Lake TV. From the Polar Plunge to festivals, parades, Aquapalooza, and boat shows, Lake TV has it all. Even the granddaddy of them all, the Shootout. If you're looking for places to party, things to do, or even a new home to move into, you've gotta love Lake TV. Welcome back to Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show, presented by the great folks at COMC. We're talking with Brad Harrington. It's so fun to talk with you. It's just great just sitting here talking boat racing and everything else. And in the last few years, you've gotten into broadcasting.
Yeah.
So you've gone from the boats, and you're still racing, but to talking about the boats, and you have a passion for this. Where does that passion come from?
I love boats and I love doing it, but I love explaining it too. I like bringing other people into it and, being around the shootout and understanding, the logistics of trying to get the broadcast to go off well and the whole logistics when it comes to it.
Yeah.
And I like correct information. So I just lend my, knowledge every time I can, when I can. So I try not to overstep or anything, but just trying to bring as much information as I can, truthful information to the shootout and to all of boat racing. I travel and do the commentating on different race organizations too. So it's fun.
What are those organizations that you do that with?
So OPA, I travel and I've done their commentating for the last 2 years. So mostly live stream. But yeah, I'll be going to Jersey later this month to do one. Yeah.
How cool is that? And that's not an easy job to do, broadcasting boat racing, because there's so many different categories. So many, I mean, just the shootout offshore is so different from the Lake of the Ozarks shootout. Those are completely different races, types of racing, boats that are racing.
It is very difficult.
Yeah.
So Sean Torrente, a big time racer, world champion, he was at offshore shootout. And he and I were trying to keep track of laps and who was on the course. We know it probably better than just about anybody.
Yep.
And we didn't have it right. So it's very difficult to keep track of everybody, who's in first, who's in second, and it can be very difficult.
Oh,
so
no
we
doubt.
just try to explain that as best we can.
Yeah, well, and it's good to have somebody that knows what they're talking about, because somebody like me, I wouldn't have a clue if I was on the mic trying to do a boat race, because I don't know anything about engines or boats or even the drivers. You know all about that, and that makes all of the difference right there.
Yeah, and like I said, I grew up coming down here. So I grew up coming down to our place on Mill Creek Cove, and then now we're over in Soap Creek. I had a little stand that they built for me so I could look out and watch the boats go by. It was called my boat watcher.
Cool.
So I've been watching and looking and loving boats my entire life.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So, well, welcome to the broadcasting family. It's good that we got somebody who knows what they're talking about. And you're also a board member for the Hall of Fame now, or for the Shootout now. Are you enjoying that? What do you do as a board member?
They brought me in as a board member earlier this year, and just try to help out any way I can. You know what? Since I've been around broadcast a lot, I know the ins and outs of that, and kind of can lead those broadcasts in different ways, and what is expected and what is needed, and so just
they
anything
were
I
kind
can.
of looking for your broadcasting expertise as a board member, along with your boating knowledge and all of that stuff.
As a racer also, I mean, there's things that I think that we need to do to help the stream along of racers.
Yeah.
So, but
because there's an art to that, to keeping everything rolling and going and smooth.
There's so many racers out there waiting to go, and it's hard to keep everybody in line and in order. It's difficult.
I don't know how you guys do that. What makes the Lake of the Ozarks so special when it comes to racing? I mean, this lake, Lake of the Ozarks, has become the premier racing spot in America, and just getting bigger and bigger with the offshore race now and all of that stuff. What makes this so special? What makes this possible here?
The people. The people. Just our people in this community, and they're so inviting to the racers. The racers just love coming here. And the Shootout and Shootout Offshore have such an impact in our community because, think of all the fire districts and all of the different, Elks Lodge and everyone that helps put on the Shootout benefit from the Shootout too. And so they see the impact and the positive impact that these racers have. And so that's why all of these racers, whenever they come here, they're like, we love it here. People are so inviting here. They're so helpful. Yeah. Like, well, it is the Midwest.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and it's still fairly rural.
It is.
Right?
It is. And so it's a very, also we're a vacation area. You're not by a big metropolitan area. So, everybody down here has the same mind frame of have a good time.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. For the most part.
Yeah.
Right. Just try not to get too close to my dock, right? Kind of thing. And the way the Shootout does it is brilliant because it has the volunteers actually working to make their charity money, right? I mean, what a concept. It's brilliant.
It is. It's wonderful. And by the amount of hours that their volunteers work is by how much they're paid for their organization. And it's great. Great way to give back.
So he's Brad Harrington. He's in the Shootout Hall of Fame, and you went in 2020.
I did.
Right, and it was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, it was.
And all that stuff. Are you going to race for quite a few more years, or are you planning on pulling back, or what?
As long as I can. And I told him that I'd help out, do whatever I can as a board member and on commentary. But I also want to run my boat. So I'll go out and make at least one run a day. I always want to do that, and I'll help out any way I can.
All right. Brad Harrington, Shootout Hall of Famer, great guy. We're going to have you back again and do some more shows because there's so much to talk about. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us for Lake TV's Community Spotlight Show.
watching Lake TV.